after the year, how did this project affect your lives? Like what are the top 3 shifts you saw before Locavore year and post Locavore year?
For me, one of the top shifts was looking at where things come from as an example of that. I mean, I was in Trader Joe's, and we were traveling, and we wanted water. So we went in and picked up water, and I turned the bottle around, and it came from New Zealand. So we're shipping water from New Zealand to California. That was a real shock. So that's an illustration of one of the major things that I have learned. You want to go?
Yeah, one of the, I think the biggest thing that happened was we spent a lot more time looking for, sourcing food,
yes,
and preparing food. So our food life, the hours of our day that were involved in food, it clearly expanded.
And that hasn't changed a lot. That was one of my biggest gripes. Was I cook all the time, and cooking or cleaning, you know, it's just everything, because we couldn't use anything from a package. Yeah. So everything had to be, you know, made, and you had to really think ahead. So I spent a lot of time doing that, and I was quite looking forward to not having to do that when the year ended. It really hasn't changed much, because now we are choosing to eat that way. And whereas I can now have Dijon mustard in a dish, you know, which is a big deal. There's certain things, you know, I miss. It's just a tiny bit, you know, compared to the overall scheme of cooking and preparing and shopping.
Yeah.
One of the things that's really important for me, that's changed because of that year, has to do with my the decrease in my comfort and or interest in eating things that come out of a package that have a label on them. Probably package, period. I probably don't even have to say label. But it's really kind of interesting. I certainly didn't imagine this happening to me, but there's something that just feels kind of uncomfortable now about, and I mean, I know why. It's because something that has a label on it, first of all, who knows where it was sourced from, and I don't have the time to go find out. I mean, if anybody thinks, like Joanne's talking about, that it takes time to source and prepare real food, try knowing where the stuff comes from when you pick up one package of something with a label on it. We would spend hours, I mean, who knows, maybe days, trying to find out where everything came from. Was it raised with care? Was it handled with care? Was it shipped with care? Was it pesticided? Was it, I mean, so the time is really, we're saving time as long as you look at, does one want to look at really having a sense of where their food comes from? And so to me, please, absolutely.
I have to tell you a quick story. I went to the grocery store 2 days before the end of the project, and I got a big basket because I was excited I was going to fill it up with all this food. Well, I went in there, and the first thing I got was I pulled off organic corn chips, or organic corn flakes off the shelf, and I'm holding it in my hand, about ready to put it in the basket, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, now I can have other grains. I could have millet, you know, I could have oats, I could have other things, and it would be cheaper. And so I ended up putting it back. Well, that happened over and over throughout the store. I came out there with like 7 items, including cat food in that 7 items. I was really, I had not realized the transition. I came back to Chris, I said, guess what just happened? I hadn't had the opportunity to realize the transition. And I mean, I got peanut butter, you know.
But when one thinks of the energy and certainly at least potential, if not real damage to the earth and to all of us, when you think of all these different ingredients coming from who knows where, they come to some sort of manufacturing plant, then they go through all this manufacturing, they get shipped someplace else, they get put into some kind of container, the container gets some sort of beautiful blue and pink labeling, all this marketing and everything. So it just has lost its thrill for me. It doesn't mean that I won't eat things like that occasionally here and there, but it just...
You're not attracted to it like you used to be.
No. Well, our shelves, you know, we used to have all this prepared, you know, food in our shelves, and healthy prepared food by most people's standards. Now we don't. You know, we have a few things that are in cans or a box. Just a few.
And it's more than not, you know, lost the attraction. it's just like anything when you wake up and realize, oh my gosh. I mean, when I think about stuff that I handled in the last 50 years of my life, you know, ant poison, things. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, I cringe now. Paints, you know, pouring stuff down the drain. It's like, so to me, this was just another thing, just like for many of us, where we've gone, oh my gosh, I can't leave this poison around like this. Well, it was a similar kind of thing, and so it's
It was a great awakening.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with it. It's a good thing for us.
So a lot of people are wondering, how can they become locavore? Like, what would be some steps? Maybe they don't, you know, aren't going to go all the way and be purists. Maybe some of them will start that way so they can kind of find a balance from there, so they can, you know, realize really what's going on with their food. But what are some steps that people can take to become a locavore?
Well, I would say the very first thing is to source your local food, and that, if you have a farmer's market, that would be the first place to go. But not everything at the farmer's market is going to come within 100 or 150 miles from your home, so you need to ask the farmers where the stuff is grown, and so that would be a very easy first step.
Essays, but so I think the farmers market's a great idea. I think the idea of even kind of beginning to think in terms of what if one went once a week to a farmer's market and thought in terms of buying vegetables for the week, and even maybe taking them home and preparing, you know, washing, you know, because sometimes that's what holds us up. I mean, how many of us know the experience? We go buy some vegetables, we put them into the refrigerator, and a week later or 2 weeks later they're rotted and they're sitting there in the refrigerator. And in many cases, you know, we were busy, we were tired, we got caught up in not, you know, finding the energy to actually prepare them, you know, whether it was a salad or whatever else. So I think in some ways the idea of sort of thinking of, you know, having an afternoon or an evening that has to do with bringing together food for the week is a great idea. The other thing I would suggest to everyone is just pay attention to labels. And many of us have thought about that, but maybe just a different degree of consideration of labels. How many things are in here? What are they? Do you really know anything about them? Are they really safe? Are they, you know, what is this all about? I think for many people that can help bring out the beauty and the healthfulness of what we might call real food.
So can you tell us about Locavore Light 2010?
Sure, after we realized that Eat Local 1 year was a difficult thing and not for most people, we were happy we did it to show that it could be done and we could be made healthier even than when we started, etc. We still want to get the word out to the general population to get them to participate at whatever level they could. So we made it real simple so that anybody could do it. And now the idea is to get it out there, get it in people's consciousness. That was the goal, and I think we're reaching that. We're making it. We're reaching people. We're reaching for that. We have reached that goal more and more, and hopefully will throughout the year. We made it so simple. The
ground rules for Locavore Light 2010, and they simply are: one, the participant would, on one occasion, simply stop for a moment and ponder for themselves, where does my non-local food come from? The second thing they do is to procure local food on 12 occasions in the entire year. And that local food could be in any way you cut it. It doesn't matter. It could be from your yard, it can be your neighbor's yard, it can be from a farmer's market, anything local, just 12 times. The final thing is to eat 3 meals that are made up of entirely local food, with the exception of salt. You can put that in, but everything else in the meal came from within 100 miles of your home. A lot of people are almost doing the whole thing on their own without realizing it. It's very simple. We're trying to get thousands of people signed up, and so people seeing this video, if you would be so kind as to go to locavorelight2010.webs, that's webs.com, and sign up and state that you're a participant if you are.
Because numbers matter.
I signed up.
That's right.
Numbers really matter. A lot of people say, oh, I'm already doing that. Great. Sign up, please. Sign up. Because
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing your time with us and this awesome, valuable information. And again, your website for Locavore Light is
locavorelight2010.webs, webs.com.
fantastic. Thank you very much.
thank you for your interest.
Absolutely.